Amen. Amen. Very good.
So thank you, Mazi. So there are three of us today moderating. Aham Muna Chimsaga, and I'm at Boraham Nisi because all Baramuru and Ampori Nisi. For years, Anamaza Mona, when Hemona mean, no Mona Chimsaga, Opala. So one and one you put us, Ukubem, no one year, no guess so Renya for moderation today. And then I went one name okay, I know watching it on a poeba. Okay, nyekwa aka maka ihe gbasara moderation. So aga m ahapụzi ka Ekwi were make introduce at the proper way. So Sister Ekwi, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Sister Mona. I will thank our viewers, people that are here today again. I'm not Mazi Igbo Council Igbo. I can mix here up. So a little here, a little there, until we're able to get ourselves where we want to be. So welcome everyone today in this edition of Town Hall Series, Aladinmma Town Hall Series. This is the second edition. March, and this month we're having this edition. So we'll have our speaker today. He's a pharmacist. Our speaker is a pharmacist. He finished from the University of Ife. That's now Obafemi Awolowo University. His full name is Mr. Sam Ohuabunwa. So he also has his postgraduate from Organization and Corporate Management at Columbia University, New York, USA. He has an honorary doctorate degree from Business Administration degree. Let me take it again. Honorary degree of Business Administration degree from Gregory University, Uturu. He's an entrepreneur. He is a fellow of several professional groups. Some of them include the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. He's also fellow of West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacists, fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Management, fellow of the National Institute of Marketing. Many fellows so that we can move ahead. So he's also a businessman, like he told us initially when we were interacting. He's been with Pfizer for years, since 1978. He's the manager for Pfizer West Africa regional manager was Pfizer West Africa in 1993. So please, honestly, I will not finish introducing him because there's so much. His profile is much. The most important thing that made him to come here today is that he's one of the presidential aspirants for Nigeria. And so he's a presidential candidate. I'm not sure the party he's running through. He will tell us when he starts the presentation. So thank you so much, sir. We are privileged to have you here, and we're happy that you're here to talk to us.
All right. Good evening, Umunne Numunna, Ndi Aladinmma. Ejima Chineke nekele mmadụ niile na-asị unu emena inye m opoto na mgbe abalị a ịnọkọta mụ na unu ka anyị kparịa ụka maka ihe na-achị ime ihe Chineke chọrọ ime na Nigeria. Unu mana mmadụ niile na-ekpe ekpere dịka nwanne anyị nwaanyị a si kpee. Ndị Christians na-ekpe, ndị Alakụba na-ekpe, ụmụ nwaanyị na-ekpe, ndị Krike na-ekpe, ụmụrịma na-ekpe, ndị egburu di ha na-ekpe. Ọbara na-awụfu na Nigeria. Chineke na-anụ olu ọbara niile a. Orule mgbe Chineke kwadoro ịza ekpere Nigeria, ịza ekpere ndị Igbo, n'ihi na ihe nọ na Nigeria wụ otu m na-esi agwa ya ndị mmadụ. Nigeria ji ndị Igbo n'ala, na onye ji mmadụ n'ala nọkwa n'ala, maka Nigeria ji ndị Igbo n'ala, ha nọkwa n'ala. Anyị na-asị na ihe a ga-eme ka Nigeria bilie ọtọ wụ Nigeria hapụ ndị Igbo aka, ha hapụ ndị Igbo aka, ha ebilie, Nigeria ebilie, ha nwakwa ebilie, ihe aga n'ihu. So ọ dị mma na anyị nwere opoto ịkparịta ụka. Mgbe ekwesịrị ego my profile, ọ dịkwa mma kama na eche m na one of the most important things ka onye unu mara wụ mmadụ ile onye ọ na-apụta na ya chọrọ ewu president, a ga-amara n'ihe o mere ka ebe o si, profile should be an important part of this. Kemonia introduced properly. But maybe as I speak, I might also add, because can come in our dozens, but it is what we've been through, what we've done, that distinguishes us. I might just summarize that I read pharmacy, and I joined Pfizer in 1978 as a pharmaceutical sales rep, and I grew through the ranks and became chairman and CEO of Pfizer, and regional managing director for Pfizer West Africa by 1993. In 1997, I led the management buyover of Pfizer Inc. shares in Pfizer Products PLC. I led the management to acquire their 60% shareholding. And then I turned the company, we changed the name from Pfizer to Nimet International Pharmaceuticals, and became a local manufacturing pharmaceutical company involved in research and development. I ran this company for a number of years. In fact, I spent a total of 3 years in Pfizer and Nimet, and I retired in 2011. 3 years in service, 18 years as CEO. During this period, I got involved in economic advocacy. This economic advocacy led me to become chairman of the Manufacturers Association in Ikeja, president of Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, chairman of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, a primary think tank group in Nigeria. I was president of Nigerian American Chamber of Commerce, sometime chairman of the organized private sector. I was involved in fashioning Nigeria's Vision 2010-2020 and participated in several political activities. I've served in several government boards, both at state and federal government level, and several task forces. I've been a presidential advisor, a member of the Presidential Advisory Committee, member of the Presidential Committee on Global Economic Crisis, member of the Subsidy, Investment and Empowerment Program, and so forth and so on. I am basically a community person. I'm a nation builder. I am a patriot. I'm a writer. I'm an author, and I'm a Christian. I'm married. I have the privilege of having 3 national honors. I have a member of the Order of the Niger, which I received in 2001 by the President Obasanjo. And then in 2011, I received the Office of the Federal Republic by President Jonathan Goodluck. And in 2018, President Buhari gave me the National Productivity Order of Merit Award, NPOM. So that kind of summarizes who I am. But why are we here tonight? We're here tonight because of a burden that I got into in 1986. 1986, I was the group sales manager for Pfizer, where I spent between Pfizer and Nimet 3 years. I was group sales manager, and I came to a conference in New York. There were 106 countries and 106 sales directors and managers from these 106 countries in attendance. At the end of the week-long program, I was nominated as the best participating sales manager in the conference. It was a surprise announcement because I was just one of the youngest, and in fact, a really Black person in the meeting. Because there were some others from South Africa and Egypt who were not quite dark in color. When that announcement was made, of course, we went on a tea break, and then people began to come to greet me, to get acquainted, get introduced. And in that milieu, somebody said, "Hey, Sam, which university did you attend?" I said, "I attended University of Ife." He said, "Where is that one?" I said, "It's in Nigeria." He said, "Wow, do you have good universities in Nigeria?" I said, "We have many." And I began to name some of them: University of Nigeria, Nsukka, University of Lagos, Ahmadu Bello University, and so forth and so on, University of Ibadan. Then he now followed up. He said, "Well, then it means there must be a lot of smart guys like you in the country, in Nigeria." I said, "Smart guys? In Nigeria, we have millions of smart people. If you regard me as smart, there are many much smarter than I am." And finally said, "Okay, then why is your country the way it is?" That was a difficult question for me to answer then. I just scratched my head. But I moved on, and from that day, something happened to me. First, I wasn't conscious that something had happened, but later on, as I began to seek opportunities to support Nigeria to become a globally competitive nation, I realized that the seed was sown that day in New York, because when I returned to Nigeria that weekend, as I arrived at Murtala Muhammed Airport in Ikeja, as I entered the hall, I became aware of the heat in the hall. I checked, the air conditioning was not working well enough. I entered the toilet and the water system wasn't actively working. I came out to the little space they gathered all of us called Immigration Hall, and we were headed together like cattle. I walked out after the intercation with the customs, and I waited for almost 1.5 hours to pick my luggage. I came out, the luggage, when it came, it had been ripped open, the zip. And as I dragged my luggage out of the hall, I was besieged by transporters, taxi drivers. Hey, okay, where you they go? Where you they go? Come this side, come that side. And I began to say, wow, what? I mean, what? I didn't have this kind of experience in New York. When I left the immigration, by the time I got out of the immigration hall, my luggage was already there, and I picked it, and I entered the taxi without any stress at all. I entered without any stress. And I began to say, why can't Nigeria be like New York? Why can't it be like United Kingdom? And since then, I've been to 60 other countries. And each time I arrived at any country, unconsciously, I began to measure Nigeria against those countries. I began to look at their roads. I looked at their environment. I looked at the educational system.
Sorry, sir. I don't mean to interrupt you. I forgot to remind you that it's 30 minutes for the presentation.
Sure.
8:45, and then you take questions at the end of it. All right. Thank you. Please go ahead. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So I began to say, why can't Nigeria be like these other countries where things are ordered, where you have a system where the policemen are not collecting bribes on the road, where people go to school, where people have access to comfort in life. They can easily get cars, they can get mortgage loans, and so many other things that I see happening elsewhere in the world. And it's been worsened by the fact that, given what you just read about my profile, I attend so much international meetings. And each time I'm at those meetings and they're looking at the statistics and doing some comparative analysis, my country is on the bottom. I'm seeing human development indices, we're at the bottom. I'm looking at life expectancy, we're at the bottom. I'm looking at maternal mortality, under 5 mortality. Nigeria is performing poorly. Our economy has always going into recession, where population growth is almost equal or even bigger than the GDP growth. So that created this hunger for me as to what do we do to make Nigeria become globally competitive, that it can compare with the rest of the world. And in interim, we have become a nation of either known as drug peddlers or Yahoo people, or a nation now we are terrorists and bandits. Our country has 71% poverty, 53% unemployment rate among the youth. So these are the things that dragged me, and I began to do advocacy, beg government, beg minister, beg chairman, beg governor, beg president, do the right thing. As chairman of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, every year around October, we'll gather everybody in Nigeria. I mean, I'm talking about who is who, and then bring foreign people from Malaysia, from Singapore, to speak to us how to elevate, how to improve our game so that we can become a globally competitive country with stable economic policies and stable polity. But it didn't work. Rather than things improve, they were getting worse. And our grading, except even in corruption, we kept getting terrible. So this is what it culminated in my deciding to run for office, because I've written books. I wrote a book in 2019, Nigeria Need for the Evolution of a New Nation. I have done everything else except going to competitive politics to see Nigeria change. So on the 30th of July 2019, I had a 3.5 hours conversation with myself and my God. And I came to the conclusion that I had not enough of advocacy, enough of money, enough of mourning, enough of complaining, enough of pontificating, but that I needed to get involved. And I began to seek opportunities to join and work to see how we can rescue our country. And as I say, also rescue the Igbo man, and Igbo change Igbo. I keep to say, resolve Nigeria and resolve the Igbo question in Nigeria. So that's what got me interested. I began to go around the country with my vision, which is the vision of a new Nigeria. The concept that I have is the concept of a new Nigeria, to create a Nigeria that is globally competitive, that will become a first world nation, and build a country that works for everybody, that works for the North, the South, the East, the West, that works for the poor, the rich, works for the strong, and works for the weak, works for the men and the women, works for the disabled and able, so that it's a country we can all be proud to live in. My sister who introduced spoke about the drudgery and the disappointment, the disillusionment everybody has. And young Nigerians have no future. They are looking for how to run away from our country. And those who can run are attracted to crime and all kinds of malfeasant behavior. So I am coming to do a couple of things. Work with like-minded citizens of Nigeria to bat this new nation, which I spoke about, the new Nigeria, that will be globally competitive. And in doing so, we will have to change our value system. We have identified a couple of values, I think 8 of them also on this, my form. You can see the value systems that we're looking at that will direct the new Nigeria. And we're looking at concepts like knowledge, industry, integrity, patriotism, justice, freedom, liberty, security, and godliness. These are the core values and guiding philosophy that will signpost the new Nigeria we're speaking about. And we have determined that there are 4 main demons that Nigeria is dealing with. These demons are called poverty, corruption, injustice, and insecurity. These 4 demons are related because they come from the same parents. But the principal demon is poverty, and poverty is affecting corruption. It's also part of what infects insecurity, from the point of view that not only are people not having work to do, but those who are working are paid starvation wages. Our naira is devalued non-stop, and nobody's making any attempt to adjust the wages of workers. So we have a depreciation, and people are being pushed into poverty. So when we come to bear the new Nigeria, we're going to be focusing on those issues. First is poverty. We want to create an investment climate that will attract local investors and foreign investors. So because we believe that investment is the most critical thing to revamp an economy. It's not voodoo mathematics. It's not by preaching or by praying. It can be even by decree. If we can make Nigeria an investment attractive place, then investment will flow, both domestic and foreign. These investments will create jobs. Will create businesses, create programs, create projects. These businesses, programs, and projects will hire and create jobs. Then the jobs will create wealth, and wealth will drive away poverty. So my focus is job creation through investment drive. And this investment, both local and domestic. And to be able to do so, we must create an enabling environment, have a country that has a sound security system, has a law and order, where law and order is enforced, where there is stable policy. Policies are not gyrating and unstable, and also provide free entry, free exit, very transparent system, economic system, judicial system that will give confidence to our people and to our investors, including diaspora people, so that they can bring investment into the country and create jobs, and jobs will create wealth, and wealth will drive away poverty. Of course, in the area of corruption, we'll start dealing with fundamental issues. First is, what is the driver of corruption? The major driver of corruption are joblessness to poverty. People who work and what we call starvation wages. So we're going to revamp salaries and ensure that the salaries are indexed to devaluation and indexed to inflation. If devaluation goes above 10%, we adjust salaries. If inflation goes above 5%, we adjust salaries automatically. We're not going to wait for NLC or NUC or workers to go on strike, or the Nigerian Medical Association and or ASU, and students don't go to school, we waste time, we waste labor, we waste man hours, yet government will then pay, and students get poor quality education. We want to introduce a healthcare system that is built on insurance so that the health system can be fungible, can be funded. Cash flow in the healthcare helps to not only attract and retain competent manpower, but also attract investment. Healthcare is big business all over the world, but in Nigeria, it's a pity. It's treated more or less as a public sector affair, and then the rest of us are asked to pay out of pocket, and that is not guaranteeing any cash flow to the health system. We're going to be sure that we treat every Nigerian fairly. That's one of the areas we're going to bring a difference. Because as you are aware, part of the problem we have in the South is that we feel that we are marginalized, we are mistreated, we are treated as sometimes second-class or third-class citizens. Other people in Nigeria, the middle belt people, the minority people in the South, they all feel the same, but we're going to change the system so that people are treated fairly. And that comes from our nature as Igbo people. We love equity, we love fairness. We're a group that travel, we're pioneers, and therefore we want to go to places, build up our businesses. What is good for us is also what is going to be good for others. No Nigerian will be criminalized when he's not a criminal. No Nigerian criminal will be set free when he's a criminal. Then insecurity, which is what is killing Nigeria right now. Nigeria is become a killing field where people are dying in their dozens. I went to Kaduna the other day. I couldn't go to Kaduna by the normal route. I could not fly to Kaduna. I could not go by train. So I had to fly to Kano and come to Kaduna by road, and exited the same way. I was in San Fran this Wednesday, Tuesday in KB, Monday in Sokoto. Everybody was praying and fasting for me to go and come back safely. That's the country we are. And we just passed through on Wednesday. We just drove past a school of health sciences. 30 minutes after that, kidnappers came to the school and kidnapped some female students. That's the country we live in. Economic disruption because transportation and movement is limited. So our desire is to enthrone a nation that is prosperous, and a nation that there is justice, and a nation that is security of life. So we changed the whole concept of Nigeria because everything in Nigeria needs to be reordered and changed. And I'm going to model Nigeria against the best countries because my desire is to be globally competitive, to become a first world nation. So our activities will be all the time globally focused, even taking into consideration our own individual circumstances and our level of sophistication and development. Because in Africa, there are countries that are doing well. Look at Rwanda, which is a post-war nation. I was there a couple of years ago. Very many investments coming to Africa is going to Rwanda. Those coming to West Africa are going to Ghana because of the level of insecurity in our country, because of corruption, and because of lackluster leadership. Nigeria has a leadership deficit that is widening by the day and making us look like we are half caste or we're lower caste. We're not created by the same God. It's shameful for me, and I'm sure for many people. I've labored and carried this burden for many years, as I said, but now I've decided I wouldn't no more just wish that somebody will come and do the job. I'm willing to do the job. At first, I was running the New Nigeria group I spoke about. It was a political movement. We used this to establish 6 state branches of New Nigeria group. I went to the country once to establish New Nigeria group all over the country. At the time, it was non-partisan because people from different political shades and those who are apolitical were members. But November last year, I decided to join to declare that I'm going to run on the platform of the PDP, the People's Democratic Party. And as I was saying, I was in Zamfara on Wednesday. That's the 34th state I have personally visited, talking to the members of the party, showing them, sharing my vision, my mission, my core values, and the key issues I'm going to deal with, and how we're going to run Nigeria, enthroning our last concept, which is godliness. Godliness says we believe that righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach to any people. We therefore seek to please God in everything we do. Nigeria must be turned into a truly God-fearing nation without discrimination to any religion or mode of worship. Our religious zeal must translate into true godliness that will manifest in love and comparison and compassion for each other, honesty in our dealings, disdain for wealth acquired illegitimately, and the consciousness of ultimate accountability to the Creator. Nigeria has reveled in fraudulent activities, in sin, in debauchery, in murder, in all kinds of criminal activities. And they don't seem to know that there's a consequence for everything. I'm a Christian, and I'm told that whatever a man sows, he will reap. God cannot be mocked. We've been sowing to the flesh and we're reaping corruption. Time has come for us to sow to righteousness so that we can reap eternal life and reap a country that is at the same status with other countries. Many of those countries may not be as religious as we are, but they are doing well because their moral codes are almost the same as the Christian or Muslim moral code. But here we mouth religion and do not practice it. We're going to be sure that people, especially who hold public trust, must work according to the Constitution. And the Constitution is also a derivation of the same moral principles. You will not steal, you will not hurt somebody else who have not hurt you, you will not take somebody's wife. Those things are the things that are in our criminal code. They're in concert with also what we get, the teachings we get, but we need to practice them and have leaders who are willing to practice what they preach. So that's why we're here. And as I said, it will give the Igbo opportunity to shine in Nigeria because he has been marginalized, he has been maltreated, he feels not properly integrated into the country. And that's why we're asking that it's the turn of the Southeast now so that we can heal the country, we can bring the war to an end, and more importantly, show what we can do. I do not think there's any Nigerian group, any Nigerian ethnic nationality that shows their love for Nigeria more than the people from the Southeast or the Igbo. Go to every part of the country. After the primary indigenous population, the Igbo comes next. And they don't go there with a bag. They go there with their whole assets, set up businesses, create wealth, marry and get married, live and build. And even when you threaten them, they run and come back. So I think Nigeria needs a Southeasterner with that kind of DNA to come and create first what we know how to do best, which is wealth creation, and then also build the friendships and the love that will unite our country. So that's why I'm here, to be able to present myself as a capable candidate who has a vision, who has the competence, who has the character, because character is important in leadership and it's lacking so much in Nigeria, especially among the political leadership, and also to create, who has a courage to do the right things, courage to stand for what is true without just pandering for popularity, even when you are reveling in terrible acts of deceit and cheating and aggregating what belongs to the Commonwealth to yourself. We've had very, very fairly, I'm sorry to say so, selfish and self-centered people who call themselves leaders in Nigeria. These are ordinary guys who have never built kiosks before. They've never borrowed money from the bank and paid back on due date. They get power, and then the next thing, they start building big houses, they start buying big cars, they start, a guy of no consequence just becomes a local government chairman or a councillor. Then he becomes a wealthy person. So it's attracting all kinds of people who really have no knowledge of what leadership is about. Leadership is sacrifice, is the ability to give of yourself and your own personal interests for the good of the bigger community of the communal, so that people can enjoy the benefits of the blessings that God has given to them. A country like Nigeria has no reason to have poor people in the proportions we have them, because we have sound agricultural endowment and other natural endowment, solid minerals, gaseous minerals, liquid minerals. We've not even exploited petroleum at all. We can't even refine diesel or PMS. Not talk of the extraction in the petrochemical issue. So Nigeria is potent to be a major producer, a major exporter, a competitor with the best of them. Now that Russia is having problem because of the unjust war against Ukraine, Nigeria should take advantage and export gas to the rest of the world. We can't even sufficiently even drill oil. The other day, Tony Lumelu and some guys said 95% of oil is stolen. I was alarmed. How can they steal 95? Then what is left for us? But nobody has contradicted that statement. So this is the country that we are in. And I have told myself that before I die, let it be on record that I did beyond complain and criticize and pontificate and strategize, but I also threw my hat in the ring. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. We enjoyed your presentation. We appreciate your coming, once again. We are happy with your dreams and vision. It really shows that you're a true Igbo man, because Igbo people are dreamers and they have wonderful aspirations for life. So when you were talking, I'll just quickly kind of give us a summary of your presentation. Initially, you said that Nigeria is holding Ndi-Igbo down on the ground. And if Nigeria wants to rise, it has to let Ndi-Igbo to rise, because our people's no junior and Nigeria. So if Nigeria is holding Ndi-Igbo down, that means Nigeria will be down, Ndi-Igbo will be down, except they allow Ndi-Igbo to come up. So you also said that you have your goal. Your goal is to make Nigeria globally competitive. And you've written so many books, tried to solve the problem, went for conferences and everything, and then nothing happened and you decided to do it yourself. So you have a vision for new Nigeria. And then you want to make Nigeria to be first world nation, one of first world nations. And then you want Nigeria to work for the poor and for the rich. And you also said there are 4 demons, disturbing Nigeria: demon of poverty, demon of corruption, insecurity, and injustice. And then finally, you made mention that about 95% of Nigerians' oil is stolen, and Nigeria cannot refine her oil. So just in brief, that's what we picked, just the highlights. You said so many things, but just the highlights. So in our presentation today, in our series, our conference today, we want to remind our people of the theme of our conference, why we are here. We say, Ebe ka Ndi-Igbo na-eje. Ebe ka Igbo na-eje. That's our theme. We want to know at the end of this series of conferences, we want to agree on a destination. We have 3 in mind: freedom, self-determination. Some people say, oh, Igbo Presidency. Some people say, oh, we want development. Let's just leave Nigeria. Let's just start developing our need. At the end of all these conferences, we will decide where we think will work for us. Now, there's something that our people say: you have great dreams for Nigeria. You want to do wonderful things for them. Will Nigeria allow you to do those wonderful things? We believe that as our people come in, begin to ask questions, they will ask you questions. Because nation building, we know that for you to build nation, you have to build nation on common value system. You have enumerated the value system that are familiar to us as Ndi-Igbo. All the things you said, wealth creation, nation building, this is what we believe in as Ndi-Igbo. But other people that we're trying to build the nation with, are they in agreement with what we believe in? Do we have a common value system? So some people believe that insecurity and terrorism in Nigeria is man-made. I'm just kind of trying to wrap up for us so that we begin to, questions will come in. And some people also believe that poverty is weaponized in Nigeria. In this Aladinmma Town Hall Series, we want to come out with questions. What do we want as Ndi-Igbo? Our objective, if we say we want Igbo presidency, we want to ask ourselves, will Igbo presidency resolve our safety problem and our existential threats against Ndi-Igbo? So please, I will take the first question. Sister Mona, I don't know if we're ready to take the first question, just to guide us.
Yes, so whoever that, then I will call. But I mean, I will let you, I will unmute you. So, but here more chore juna susibo wana one night will ganyana like he wouldn't deal ya the Praganama. Each chobi nature we high nature on one, Ndi Bunobi, and the Lebucha Nobi. Because I didn't which I degree nila he but I want a doctor, where MBA, where MSP, where PPF, where I much I high for him. But I don't know Budo. Dear Anya the Cadina Wunyana Lalo. Obodo dear Anya Kwany Kutu, Moria would to make sure I know down. Then I can't when down our poor external colonizers. Nenyere ha ka ha na-azọgide anyị okwu n'isi because ọwụghị ndị anyị na ha na-eme ihe they are not smart enough to come up with ihe ha na-eme anyị. No somebody na-atụnyere ha eruru egwa m ụzọ ha ga-esi na-azọgide anyị okwu n'isi. And ha gwala anyị over and over again ihe ha chọrọ ime anyị. Ha ezoga ihe ezo nọ na TV ha na-apụta na channel news ha or whatever news ha nọ na-agwa anyị otu ha ga-esi were mele onye ukwu na onye nta na-emekwa na anyị na-ahụ ya n'anya. Enwe ihe dịka ndị be anyị si na anyị chọrọ ihe a na-akpọ self determination ka anyị nwere onwe anyị na tibu a karịa anyị achọkwa ya wee o si na chi oruzie echi na-ebewa akwa how did this happen, how did that happen? Anyị na ebe ha na-esu anyị duka mana ụtụtụ mana ihe mana abalị anyị anọrọ na-abụ abụ na chọọchị akpọkụ Chineke ihe na-eme na-eme anyị asị ọwụ presidency bụ ihe ga-azọpụta anyị n'ọkụ ala mmụọ anyị na-achị ego so ebe anyị nọ already ọ na-agba ọkụ na-enwu ka ọkụ anyị nọ n'ime ọkụ ala mmụọ ka ọnwa isi ka anyị nwere onwe anyị ihe niile ikwuru bụ ihe ọma ka ọwụ na ọnwụ ihe na-emetụ anyị n'obi ihe anyị niile bụcha n'obi ihe anyị chọrọ ka ọ wụrụ anyị nweta onwe anyị emezi obodo emezi anyị ewere chọwa ndị ga-abịa wụọ prezidenti iruru ogo prezidensị nwee digrii prezidensị mara ihe prezidensị na anyị niile zuru oke n'ebe ị nọ bet anyị nọ n'obodo nwere iyi na-enwe ike inwere onwe anyị kezi ihe chenjiri na onwere vidiyo gị wọchiri mgbe na-adịghị anya ka ị na-ekwu maka obodo a na-akpọ Naijiria ihe ha na-eme anya na isikwa na ịtụtara alụrụ na ya na idekwara akwụkwọ maka ihe ndị na-eme ka ezi ihe chenjiri from obodo ahụ ịkpọrọ obodo ọkụ mmụọ to ihe ị ga-eji were wuruzie president na were ebe emezie ya knowing very well na has placed a strategy in place make sure that na ị ga-abịa ebe ahụ onye ọla bịarutere ebe ahụ ga-ebido yiwe akwa ndị Awụsa sụọ Awụsa onye Awụsa wụrụ onye Awụsa na-asị gị Awụsa song na ihe Fulani I'm sorry ndị Awụsa I'm sorry asị gị Fulani name ka ezi ihe pụrụ iche na iji were na-abịa apart from all these dreams niile dekọtara because mụọ na-enwe m list ga-ahụ dịka list nke mụọ ka ezi ihe dị iche iwere bịa to make sure that na this Nigeria na-ekwu okwu ya ga-ekwe ka anyị nwere onwe anyị ọ ka anyị nwee ike mee ihe ndị esi ka anyị mee ọkwanụ ma eleghị anya anyị enwere onwe anyị nwee ihe a na-akpọ chata relationship so that anyị na-alụkwana di ya a na-alụ ya ọfụma. Thank you. Otu aha m n'ọnụ.
Nzawa.
Yes, Mazi.
Dewa danne. M chọrọ ịgwa gị na esoro m lụọ agha Biafra. Alụrụ m ebu ile anya m ga-egosi gị n'aka m ebe a. Ọ nwere onwe onye nwere ike ịhụ ya na ya. Enwere bullet ebe esi wepụ m bullet n'aka. Alụrụ m agha as a young 17-year-old boy. I was an army officer. So ọbara Biafra nọ m n'ahụ nke mbụ. Nke abụọ when I'm a member of Alaigbo Foundation. I am a member of Aki Kenga. I'm a member of Ndi-Igbo Lagos. I used to be the Secretary General and President General of my own town union. So I Igbo na dimpa. And when I wondered about Ihaga Biafra, the Portaco volunteer, the experiences of a young combatant. It's a book. It's in Amazon, along with my other books. I think they're there. So first of all, is to establish my identity in how I mean. But I didn't take the line. You won't be meeting this so big a and I got okay. The question I do, I self-determination. I chọrọ what restructuring. Onwe ihe ndị Igbo na-achọghị. Ajụrụ na-ajụ anyị niile onye ga-eme. So ihe m na-abịa ime nwanne m nwaanyị ọwụ na anyị chọọ ibi nke onwe anyị, anyị chọọ ịnọ nke onwe anyị. O nwere ụzọ abụọ esi eme. Nke mbụ bụ na iburu agha. Anyị mara anyị ebuola agha mgbe mbụ ọwọkụghị. After 3 years, we lost nearly 3 million people. We didn't get it. So the other alternative was negotiation, dialogue. And before a way dialogue, when you get on issue, check out onye chọrọ ka enwe dialogue, onye chọrọ ka emezi obodo. So ihe anyị otu n'ime ihe anyị si abịa mgbe nsị na anyị ga-eme resolve Igbo question. Ihe a ka m bụ n'obi. Ihe m bụ n'obi wụ na anyị bata n'ọkwa, anyị ga-ekwu okwu ndị nwe Nigeria. One of things I ga-eme within the first year. Ndị ọwụna anyị wụ ndị ọ na-ewute na Nigeria. Ịnụkwa ndị ofe mmanụ si na ha chọrọ ịpụ. Ndị Niger Delta onwe mgbe ha si ha chọkwara ịpụ. Ndị chọrọ ịpụ karịrị akarị. But ihe awụghị ha ga-eme ba ịlụ ọgụ. Because ịlụ ọgụ anyị egbuo onwe anyị, mmadụ anwụọ. Onweghị ihe kwesịrị mmadụ ofu onye nwe ya afọ mmadụ atọ. Ndị nwụrụ na agha Biafra anwụọna enough. Anwụ ekwuola na ọbara ha kwefere dị enough. Mgbe a ga-enweta any country na Nigeria, ha akwafuole more than enough, more than nke ndị Ukraine na-akwafu now. So ihe m na-ekwu part of ihe anyị chọrọ ime, ịma ụkwa ihe ele ka a na-ekwu n'ekwucha n'ebe anyị nọ. Kama anyị ga-ewekọta ndị nwe obodo, ndị ugwu na ndị ndịda, ndị elu. Anyị anọrọ ofu ebe jụọ onwe anyị, ụmụnne unu chọrọ ịnọkọta n'otu ka nwere ndị afọsụrụ afọsụ. Because ihe dịka ndị dịka ndị Igbo unu soro anyị, then emekwu na asị na anyị eso. Elekwu n'otu we cannot be ihe a na-akpọ dog in the manger. Ma ịchọ ka anyị gaa heaven, gị hapụ na anyị agaghị ebe ọzọ anyị chọrọ ịga. Ọkwa ihe anyị na-ekwu. So ihe anyị ga-akpọka mmadụ niile si ele unu chọrọ ka anyị niile nọrọ otu. Unu si mba, anyị achị oke ka anyị menu ka anyị ga-esi kewaa ka ibe hapụ ịlụ ọgụ. Ndị Soviet Union kewara, ndị ọzọ ekewala, biri n'udo. Even though Russia na-achọkwa ebe ịkọsụ nsogbu now, but ha nwere ike ibiri anyị kwuru wuru ọha wuru former states of any country, that they can live in peace and trade among themselves, but let everything be done quietly and nicely. But ọkwa na ndị Nigeria si na ha chọrọ mmadụ niile ka anyị nọrọ n'otu. Then anyị ekwuonu otu anyị ga-esi anọ. Ele otu anyị ga-esi anọ ka ihe dịrị onye nwa mmụọ dịrị nwa mmadụ. Ele otu anyị ga-anọ ka onye Igbo hapụ ime onye ndịda hapụ ime. Because ihe na-achụ anyị na Nigeria awụghị na Nigeria aga oburu ibu ime anyị accommodate, ime ka ndị Igbo gaa na-eme ihe a na-eme na ndịda na mgbada. Ọ bụghị ihe ọjọọ. Asị anyị lebịa n'otu nke ọnụrọ ọkwa oge anyị gara achụkwa ahịa na-achụkwa ebe anyị ga-apụ apụ otu ọnụ nwa nọ n'ala bekee. So anyị ga-enwe opportunity ime ịnọ n'obodo buru ibu na-eme ihe anyị chọrọ ime, but na-eme n'udo. A na-akwanyere anyị ugwu, anyị na-akwanyekwa ndị ọzọ eke ihe ya ezoro anyị otu esi kere ndị ọzọ. Ọhịa ga-edegharị, ọhịa ga ihe na-ekwu dị a new constitution will come. Constitution will define the relationship of the new Nigeria. Ịma ihe a na-akpọ this thing na-agwa gị a na-akpọ ya new Nigeria. I were aha anyị ji ezigbo aha gụọ ihe
round up nwere ndị nwere ezigbo ajụjụ jupụrụ everywhere ka round up. So gbaa mbọ ka ị na-eyuzu about 3 minutes na-aza ajụjụ so that ka anyị nwee ike ịnwetacha question ndị ụmụnna anyị na-ajụ. Ngwa, go ahead and round up with that one. So sorry, we forgot to tell you.
Well, question and answer, the time is answer question depends. Do question aju. Question is very thick. It's a very fundamental question. I get we make it in 1 minute.
No, I said 1 minute.
Now what I na-ekwu, and all part of ihe bụ n'obi na-abịa n'ihi a na-asị onye ọwụghị Buhari, ọwụ Tinubu, ọwụghị ndị a na-akpọ aha, ọwụghị ndị ga-eme aga gozi ọ ga-eji dị easy. Anyị kpa ihe gbasara otu ndị Igbo, otu ọnọdụ ndị Igbo ga-adị. So onye Igbo ma onye kwere na ihe Igbo, onye kwesịrị nọ n'ọchịchị ana-akpa otu a ga-esi jere ndị Igbo aka. That is summary of it.
Thank you. Mazi, one of the presenters I were last conference I were, Ambassador Uche Okeke was one of the speakers. So I see the caliphate will never give up power nor their privileged position, but we continue to use deceptions such as constitutional amendments and Igbo presidency to try to keep Nigeria one. Now we seem to have limited time, according to her. We seem to have limited time before we can defeat caliphate. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, because sorry, everybody on make noise. I had to mitigate it. So sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So sorry, before I realized it. So Niheb Ambassador Uche Okeke, as an Ambassador Uche Okeke was a presenter, the last series of conference I'm wearing. And part of what she said that the caliphate will never give up their power nor privileged position, but they will continue to use deception such as constitutional amendments and Igbo presidency to try to keep Nigeria one. So Ajujon Woro, and she, according to her, we have limited time because the caliphate is about to destroy everyone. Ajujon Woro, because he say, Owuru nebata, he change the constitution, he menka. What is your practical step? He we bata. Gina ke he the caliphate. Give when we ke bata we make the changes.
One. Anaghị anọ na ụlọ mara ihe na-azụ n'ahịa. Ọ mgbe gara n'ahịa gị mara ihe a na-azụ n'ahịa ụbọchị ahịa bara uru na ụbọchị ndị mmadụ azụghị ezigbo ahịa. Anyị agaghị ekwucha ihe anyị na-ekwu nọrọ na nkọ. Yes, ị na-ekwu na ha na Igbo Presidency, ndị caliphate or ndị a na-akpọ ha, they won't na-ekwu Igbo Presidency. They're not even looking, they're not interested in Igbo Presidency. So it's not true. They're not offering us Igbo Presidency. Nigeria. They have actually they want to remain in office, so they are not offering us Igbo presidency. So we will know Igbo presidency need deceive. They are not. Anyị ma ihe abu n'obi, but ihe mwa na-ekwu elego tu a ga-esi ebido achọta ihe nọ n'opi gbọgọrọ ma achọghị ileba anya n'ime ya. So onweghị any guarantee na ha ga-ekwe, but ị ga-anọ n'ụlọ mara ma ha kwere ma ha ekweghị. Mgbe anyị try ma ha ekweghị, nke a adịkwa na ihe anyị jiri ha ọfọ jiri ha ogu. Anyị na-akụkwa ndị ụwa ndị achọ ka ha nyere anyị aka, because a na-asị ndị abịa nyere anyị aka, ndị abịa nyere anyị aka. Ị ga-enye part of the evidence na ịgbalịala lekwe ihe mere ha ekweghị gị. It has to the evidence a ga-eji onwe ihe ọzọ a ga-eme. Kama anyị agaghị anọ n'azụ na-asị na ha agaghị ekwe. Anyị atara ibeghị kemgbe onwere mgbe onye Igbo pụtara sị ya wụ president since after Ekwueme. Onwere onye hụrụ kamgbe how many years anyị anọrọ till today. So this is the issue. Can you try anọ nke a is the lowest hanging fruit. Is the lowest hanging fruit. Today I won't die on Nigeria. Maybe I ga wait amaghị m ihe ọwụ. But taa I nọ Nigeria. And a na-emegbu enwe ga-ejikwa aka megbu onwe ha were aka gị tii n'okpu na-ese na agaghị ekwe. Try go di ma ekweghị gị sị oke agbalịala m. So onweghị onye nwere guarantee. Uche Okeke wụ onye ma Ambassador Uche Okeke ihe o kwuru nwere ike iwe eziokwu. Beto mgbe anyị tryịrị ọ mụ ipushuru ụzọ pushuo ya ma o mepe gị mara na alọpụ ọwụ na ọchọ na abangịrị. So ka anyị gbalị anụ.
Okay, daalụ maazị. So ihe na-akọwa bụ na ọwụ guarantee not to fulfill righteousness. Ka asịkwa na anyị try. So ka anyị try.
Yes,
okay.
It could work.
So can take your question onye ọzọ because ndị be anyị na-anụ na-take notes. Ịghọtago? Maka anyị na-plan kedu otu ihe anyị ga-eme. Ihe niile awụ alụ ka anyị na-atụ. So anyị mara nke ga-awụ ka anyị kwụnyesie ihe dị na table. So I will read out the question. He said, that's from Henry Ogine. He says, if one is tempted to compare the Igbo question to the Jewish question, the Jewish question wasn't resolved until they had their own nation. I believe that the Igbo question can only be resolved same way. Any other thing may be academic. Do you honestly, now the question, Do you honestly believe that the Igbo question can be resolved under the current Nigerian construction and constitution, Mr. Ohuabunwa? That's the question he asked.
First and foremost, the Igbo question and the Jewish question are not exactly the same, because we have a home country, we have where we live. We don't live in, we're not in exile. The Jewish people were largely in exile, and the country had to be declared by United Nations. We have some similarities and some differences. That is one. Number two, would that I chogodi imwe obodo nke anya ga nkwure n'isi mbụ. Owoge ihe to hasten it inyere aka ihe anyị na-achọ, ohia mo na-achọ. The opportunity and our choice, how to hasten, how to move one step towards it. But I don't know now so grammar. That is the academic side. This grammar and so we want this, we want this, we want that, and doing nothing about it. That is the academic side. The side I am is the practical side. To start, if you have 100 kilometers, give you don't know what 1 kilometer. If you have 1,000 problems, you start one. If we can solve this pattern of justice, equity, and fair play, that is one step towards Nacho. We're not absolutely looking for any country. If this country was treating us well, we probably will be looking for one. So it's not an absolute rumor, because there's no El Dorado. There's no guarantee that any country will be absolutely idealistic. It's not true. So Wagana Biafra, and I know that it wasn't an ideal situation. What we want is something that will show us as who we are. Any opportunity bindu Ndi-Igbo. That's what we want. So Kaibidonu, I'll go to one step. Let's start it. From that one step, we'll go to the second step. Onyeji power. Onyeji nebuji nebunye madu. Onye keke. Itigi nigima. Gine kwoku buye gijinile. Onyege nyegia. And etiti anakbu. Unless my G the ready ega log. And I tell no one the ready log right now. So Kaika Godinka the possible. I try here and low hanging fruit. I got tired. I will really work at towards the fruit then can on in.
Thank you very much. I'll read another question from Mazi Sam. He says, sir, are you aware of the Ahmadu Bello Victory Charter, in which he made a proclamation 7 days after the 1960 Nigerian flag independence, that the new nation called Nigeria shall be an estate of our great-grandfather, Usman Dan Fodio. We will ruthlessly resist change of power. We will use the minorities in the north as willing to, and the south as conquered territory. He wants to know.
I've read it, but Ahmadu Bello awu Chineke. Oya kerowa. Onye kerowa nwere the final say. Anybody can say what he wants. So people can say what they like. It doesn't mean we are bound to be subject to that type of authority. Here is somebody's wish, and anybody can make that same wish. So it shouldn't deter us that somebody made a proclamation. I believe in he has a right to make his own declaration. Only the right. When the cost doesn't make a change that cost. So we are trying to change that cost. That now when I won't do Budo Nigeria, Nanyikwisiri, Inwe equal share with everybody else, and we have to demand it. When we demand it, if we get it, fine. If we don't get it, it will be a record that we demanded it. I gotta say, no one you put a president. Is an emebu.
Ndewo Mazi, ndewo. Because ajụjụ Esara dịkwa ka ọ dị, because for you ịkpọ ihe ahụ nwoke ahụ kwuru proclamation dịkwa very scary. Na ihe a wụ a strategy ha ji were jide anyị n'ala since anyị wụ mmadụ na obodo ahụ a na-akpọ Nigeria. So ya wụ na ịhụbeghị na ọhịa ha kwuru ka ha na-eme. Ọ wụkwa ihe dị concerning na obodo oyibo ka asụsụ oyibo. That na ihe ha kwuru na-eme ya since ahụ. He saw na ihe ọjọọ sụrụ kwuo na o nwere right ikwu ihe ọ na-ekwu. But ihe anyị ha were ejijide anyị n'ala up to today anyị nọ. Anyị niile eji gbafucha na ọ na diaspora arụrụ ndị ọcha ọrụ. While ala anyị were choice property Chineke nna nyere anyị. Wezuru ihe niile zuru oke niile nke a na-akpọ land of milk and honey. ndị ewere ọkụ fonye anyị na-ahụ that na ishi n'obodo anyị gbafu ihe na-asị na ihe Amadi Bello kwuru wụ ihe ọjọọ chọrọ ikwu versus ihe ha na-eme anyị actively now. Biko kọwara m nke ahụ ọfụma.
Ihe na-akọwara gị na Amadi Bello awụghị Chineke, ọ wụ mmadụ. So ọwụgodi ha dị mmadụ atọ ma mmadụ anọ nwee their plan kwuo ihe a na-eme. Our own women resist. Are you saying we should hapụ onye kwukwele ihe ọbụla ha sọ ha eme n'ihi na ikwuole ya ekwubiele ya? What I'm saying that ihe ha kwuru ihe ha bụ n'obi ha nwere ike ha na-eme, but the issue is anyị nwa ndị ga-eme resist. We have to resist it, and the way to resist is to contest for power. If you don't contest for power, what are you going to use? Ke ha ji eme anyị ihe a ọkwa ha ji power onye ha ji eme ihe ha plan power hapụ ha n'aka. They cannot do it no matter what the plan is. Onye Jidemma na-egbu. So we see the size of what they are doing, but more believe in Madu Chineke kwuru na ihe ọhụụ kwuru ihe ga-eme forever. It will only happen for a while. Civilization come and go, trends come and pass, fashions fade, civilizations fade. People proclaim and do what they want to do. They get a time when they decline and it ends. And one way it ends is by confrontation. Somebody may oppose. Is this an idea? Is this an ideal? Is this a theory? Is it a whatever? Somebody has to bring a counter to be able to take that out. And that is the counter we are proposing at this time. Let's start from where we are and go to where we want to desire to be. You can't get that in one jump, except to start by taking one step at a time on a journey that will take us to a land of freedom, where we believe that that's where we're destination, where everybody will be happy, where everybody will live at peace with each other. That's our destination. But let's start with contesting for the power, because if we don't have the power, we can't even change the minimum of things, and things will keep getting worse. While we're looking for heaven, it is important that people also survive while they're on earth, so that by the time they go to heaven, they have the opportunity to go to heaven. Because if all of us die without getting opportunity to get the qualification to go to heaven, then nobody goes to heaven. So my point was that, yes, how will a plan? Yes, all has got log. I'm like, I got my wound at Biafra. Ụfọdụ na-amaghị ihe, ụfọdụ na-anọghị na Biafra. So anyị nwa buye na ọbara. Kama elele manya na-elule n'ala, lụọ ọgwụ ekwesị ịlụ, lụọ ma nke na-alụgide nke a na-ede, kwuo nke a na-ekwu. My own proposition is I want to start doing something now to begin to change the status of the Igbo man. And if we can get the presidency, the journey begins.
Ndewo, I want onye ajụjụ aha ya wụ Buchi Chris. Buchi, go ahead.
Okay, Mazi. Ndewo, sir. Been a long time.
Yeah.
Now let's go straight to the game. I understand the ideology. Mana onwe m chọrọ ikwu ihe ada bịa nna ha ukwu kwuru mgbe ahụ ha na-eme mgbe ahụ. The way ọ bụghị ihe anyị ma mere n'agha. For the first coup, second coup were all orchestrated. They were all planned. Emere first coup plan ka e were nwee ike ime the counter coup egbusie ndị Igbo n'amị wee kwadowe maka the war. It was a takeover plan. Ha kwadoro ya kwado. As we're talking now, nke a na-eme kịta otu ga-akwadowere over 30 years. Since Buhari started contesting, so they are doing it. God sent me to the north by accident. I had a Fulani assistant manager. We run into these herdsmen, they speak their food. With his manager. I picked up all these things. Some people know my story. Before I suddenly passed out, it was time God took me out of the north. This thing was happening in 2018. That's how I got involved in these things. I'm sorry to say, that is where I used to see life. I'm just adding my voice to Yenemani. It is deliberate. Though I got maybe my but can you say Yenemani is deliberate. They recognized us as their threat to dominating Nigeria. The only threat have for only Britain because they no. Haji will be from 18 something. Ndawundi Kirafa, Turkey has the Ottoman Empire. You know, forgot Ottoman Usman Dan Fodio. 1804. How did they take over the north? It's the same thing Ghana Mary is in their culture. They are coming with it again. They are coming back with it.
All right. Thank you.
Mazi is saying that the threat is real, that is not a joke.
Mazi, thank you for coming to this event and this program. You have read out so much that you're going to do as president of Nigeria, and how you're going to bet the new Nigeria. The Aladinmma Town Hall Series, the focus is what will happen to the Igbo man, what will work for the Igbo man. Now, what you have said, the 1999 Constitution is one big mountain standing in front of you when you become president. The Igbo already is disadvantaged in that 1999 Constitution. You have also said about going there and trying to change, call meetings, and we have only 5 states out of the 36 states in Nigeria. Now, our people are also dying because of security issue. You have mentioned that, you have mentioned corruption, you mentioned power, you mentioned poverty. All of these have their roots in that 1999 Constitution. Now, as president, how will you deal with the issue of 1999 Constitution and the 68 exclusive items in that Constitution? How will you do it?
All right. Can I answer now?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I was in the Nigerian Political Reform Conference 2005, 2006, which President Obasanjo called. And we were able to get certain things in that report, which will have changed so many things. And it took a lot of negotiation, a lot of horse trading. We got away with a couple of things. And here we got this report. And what we did was that we said we should start a new 6-year presidency, because we also saw that 4-year, 2 terms. At the second term, always the election, the country looks like it's going to break. So I said 1 single term, 6 years. And we have proposed that the president that was in power then, Obasanjo, should do 2 more years to add to the one he was doing to bring it to 6, as a sweetener for him to buy into this proposal. He took the proposal and went to the National Assembly. The National Assembly then focused only what they call on the 3rd term, the additional 2 years, which many people didn't understand is additional 2 years, it's not additional 4 years. And that National Assembly was at the time led by Ndi-Igbo, who was Senate President. They threw the baby and the bathwater away. The contents in that constitutional review, or what we brought to the National Assembly, were mind-boggling and land-shaking. It was thrown away. Second one, the 2014 national conference called by Jonathan. Ndi-Igbo Nodiaga Wagi, what efforts they made to bring a couple of changes to Nigerian constitution. And again, unfortunately, Jonathan couldn't get it done. Who was hoping that when he comes back in 2nd term, he would do it. And he didn't do it. And that's the end of it. So the truth of the matter is that my own proposal, well, I'm not going to do like Obasanjo did, do this conference when it's about to go, or Jonathan did when he was already closing the term. This will be done the first year. The critical things have to be done early enough. And I want to tell you from the experience we have, with a plan, but every plan will put a counter. every plan in the world, there's always a counter to every plan. In every plan, you see some weakness which you can exploit. Ideal situations may not be easily attainable at first attempt. You either do a revolution and be ready to pay the price and get a drastic change. The other thing is to do an incremental change and get improvement, because life is not going to end tomorrow. The world will continue after we are gone. And the people who comes after us may even think that our best wasn't even good enough. No one can solve all the problem of man. So my proposition is that we can get the constitution amended early enough. And in my present consultations, I've gone around the country. Can what get you? I will put the tiny, small percent of the political elite in Dugu, the average Onyugu, they just sell some of this crap to them every election. They are willing to listen, because are you going to take the advantage and leave them with nothing? There's always something you give to get something, but you take out that one that is most a critical factor for you, and you can offer another one. That's step one. So we're going to try to be able to amend the constitution. It's amendable because from my experiences of 2005 Political Reform Conference and 2014, that's why we need a leader with courage, because the major problem is courage. It's the lack of courage of the leader. If the leader has courage and is ready to pay the price, he'll get what he wants. The National Assembly is virtually, during Obasanjo, they were pliable. He could use them as much as he could. Yaradua, Jonathan, and Buhari. So it is a question of, are you willing to, first of all, dimension what is most important, what is most critical, and do them early in your tenure before you now go be carried away by other things. That's what is going to be different. And I believe that Ndugu Ahuna, I'm talking about the ordinary folks. How na here they are some of them in one that in our work it's not working for them. I'm talking about the ordinary guys. I'm not talking about the political elite when they their own interests. But as I said, we have to try to change the music, to change the narrative, and in the process, if we can't get all, let's get some.
Thank you. There one. You want to go question of one.
So,
okay,
Dr. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, Mazi, my other question is, it's good to start early. As president, Jonathan did the 2014 conference. Well, supposedly the document produced was a good document, but eventually it ended the way it ended. Part of the problem is still what I am saying. The Igbo, they are disadvantaged in terms of number, and that's you are aware that before independence, the population of Nigeria was not tilted to the north, but today the caliphate side has the population, has the number of in the states, in the National Assembly, and everywhere, and they can determine what happens. So you have a good plan, you bring it to the National Assembly, they kill it. What are you going to do?
The 2014 recommendations brought almost equal number of states. At least Ndi-Igbo getting with 2 additional states, or on that report, to bring them to 7. Yes, so all you can now give, these conferences are not impregnable. In here, when Jonathan Merenke 2014 and thought he would stay in office after 2015. And he left office, and the people that came, of course, would not touch it. So if we can do it early enough and have the courage to damn the consequences, some people are not getting the courage to do what needs to be done when they have the opportunity. As critical to such or chaya, it didn't do me whatever you have done, you have accomplished your mission. And then you can move on. So these things are doable. And again, that for you know, for the one-on-one. And now, ma'am, Jonathan Nonokwa, Otironyan Kanye, Konyege, Elekota Anya population. Onyege Lekota Nago mad. Ye Ruba Queen Hogame. Each Lusimado, ye bus of where in or ime. Ye quadrogin. So, for the here Bunobi, Ayakosine Kucha Hanile, him Choroke Otawuna, Awunwa Fibo, Mihem na Bime. Iwere Nigeria welie ebehaji Nigeria Ndi-Igbo n'ala welie helu Ndi-Igbo agawa handa agawa anyị achọ ihe ọla ha chọrọ enwere ihe anyị ma chọrọ anyị enwere but okwu ọla ndị China in every what is it 1000 a journal of starts with one step, and we want to engage in that step. Or each day one you can get it you kuna me here give us a space it you abo in at it you abo at once you may never get the space we don't have to do one space. Get push when we went to the second place. Let's start the journey. Because I cannot book when guys and anything. One night you work in you know, and that so him the can you help me? Can you get by game with the power? Oh, na Chileke gave or working hard gave way. Macam Chole Quaruna. When we drove once night, but I nearly na Chineka nonia, if we non near, or him and the Dicani Jiputa. I wouldn't assume her dog before, but he had Jiputa now, no rule, with Chineke Chori Roru, and Chineke Chichor on a Chondi Nogi Jaroru, move for the wound dear mamma, or looking the Ndina before. So, ihe bụ n'obi wu amụma afọ Igbo ama m ihe dị ndị Igbo mkpa but agaghị ekwuchi ekwu igwe ahụ chọrọ ime ha nụpere then ha nọchere gị ụzọ enweghị ike ịgafe ọnụ nwa na-asị na ha na-eji deceit ha na-eji takia anyị nwere kwesịkwara ijikwe deceit nwekwe takia if there's any such thing so ka anyị were uchu were wisdom so ihe a because ọ bụ ka anyị na-aga elu but anyị agaghị ekwucha na ọgbọrọdọ ihe niile anyị ga-eme ndewo.
They will Mazi Seb unmute yourself. Oh, one night working. When Ajaju Seb, unmute yourself. Oh, Ajaju.
And there were no Munam Namuku Ohuabunwa. If in a Kuna on our summer so on our summer so Makana. Ọ dị ka ị nwere olileanya na ibufu olileanya bulie na ụpa wee bute maka etu obodo si dị ọ dị ka ndị be anyị nwerezi olileanya mana ịmana na ọ bụrụ olileanya ga-agbanwele anyị obodo so ife anyị ji gbakọọ na Aladinmma Aladinmma bụ ka anyị jụọ onwe anyị kedu ebe Igbo na-aga ikwugo yes na azịza gị na ajụjụ abụ ndị Igbo ga-chụọ presidency ikwugo ife iji wee chọọ ka aga chụọ presidency strategy roadmap ị ga-eji nweta ya bụ ife ị na-achọ anụgo nya n'onu gị roadmap gị bụ ị chọrọ ịba ebe afọ ịkpọkọọ ndị obodo ndị nnukwu obodo jụọ ọfa ajụjụ kedu unu chọrọ ịnọkọ ọnụ unu chọrọ ka o nwere ndị a chọrọzi ịnọ ife nghọta ọ ya bụ strategy ị chọrọ iji wee gaa ajụjụ izizi mbụ strategy nụnwa kedu ebe ọ dị gị ka ị ga-esi nwee ike iji wee mepụta ya ọ bụ na iwu ji obodo iwu nke kewasịla obodo na states 36 states anyị nọ na ya. Iwu nke kewasịla obodo na 740 local government areas. Ọ bụ na that structure ka ị ga-eji wee mee ọmalịcha ife n'ụwa ibu n'obi. Ịma na ụzọ agara ya nya kpatara na Obasanjo ji wee try ya. Ọgarọ Jonathan anwakwa ọgarọ ị chọrọ ịga aka ịnwakwa ka ịfụ na ọma aga maka ọma aga nọ ife o ji wee na-aga bụ na ndị ekego ife niile chịkọrọ. Lagos nwere senator 3, Kano nwere senator 6, 3 from Jigawa, 3 from Kano, and so on and so forth. Na ife na-ekwu bụ ka a gaa nwagodi, ka a gaa nwa within this structure of 1999 constitution nke gị nwa na onwe gị kwuru na TV. Awọchiri m ya ikwuru na TV si na ife a 1999 constitution a bụ ọya anyị na-aya ikwuru ya. O nwere ebe gị na Barrister Tony Nnadi nọ na interview ọ dị ka Enugu Broadcasting or something. Mfụrụ ya like cha ife ikwuru ebe afọ na ọlụzi oge enunwe na-ekwu okwu ije presidency ọ na-asọ m ụsọ ma na-enukwa m ilu. Ihe o ji elu m ilu bụ na ụzọ agara ya. So kọwakenela etu isi akwado iji wee meli that majority afọ ndị a ji fiat wee establish. Ịkọwasịara anyị ya etu ị ga-esi meli majority ha before njụkwazie the next ajụjụ maka ife na-ekwu na atọ m ụtọ nwanne.
Daalụ biko mụ anọgo na Nigeria, gị nwa bi n'obodo oyibo. Anọ m here for this length of years and I have been involved in what goes on every day. Agagom, in the last 1 year, I've gone to 36 states. I've been to 36 states last year. From November 8th to today, Zamfara that I went on Wednesday is the 34th state. I'm meeting at different levels with political elite, with the Talakawa, with professionals. And I was the past president of the Pharmacist Society of Nigeria because I used to be chairman of MAN, president of NECA. I have associates all over because all these associations are pan-Nigeria associations, even if they are not essentially politically partisan. They are the same, occupied by the same demography of people. In our Watarobuna, Ugwe change go, can work in the non party, in the Aina Fanalo, in the southeast, in the south, in the southwest, in the middle belt with 9 states in the north, 9 parts of southern Borno, Plateau, up to Kebbi, are in the middle belt, southern Kaduna. These ones are thinking we have an alliance with them today. Southeast Middle Belt Forum. George Professor Dr. Ndi-Igbo, who is the executive director. Joe Chief Adebanjo from Adebanjo from Afenifere. Joe Chief Edwin Clark from Niger Delta Pandef. India non a group here for Zinugundi. Part of northeast and northwest. It's a smaller population. This was why we were able to get those things through. What happened abroad, that was why we were able to, in 2014, to get some of those changes through because these groups came together. And how are the majority? They are all feeling the same, they are working together. So it's not it's not monolithic anymore. Ugu now, you will put it in the middle belt, which is 9 states out of the 19 in the north, 9 they added to the south. You find that the equation is changing. So many of these people are feeling the way we are feeling. And even among Ndugu, I'm not being presumptuous, just believe me. Ndugu none at this extreme northeast. Ndinke none Borno, and Ibuha can fly. Ndinke none Zamfara. Ndi nọ na Sokoto, Kebbi, even Katsina. Let me tell you something. Ejem Kasina to go and do New Nigeria Group. I was to arrive at 2 o'clock. I arrived at 5. The hall was full waiting. And the embarrassment I got, and also what brought up, was that even civil servants stayed in the meeting and they were discussing political issues openly. In fact, that night when we finished, we refused to sleep in Katsina and said, "Now this is too true to be true." I went back to Kano to see civil servants come out and condemn their government and say, "No, Robert, many of them can't go to their villages, they can't go to their local government, that they can't continue with what is going on." What does it profit a man to be that no you can't go to your village, the Makulu meaning war, and a boogie, and make you kidnap? Chukwa Lucifer Bogu, Chukwe Jigo, Ejiaka Lucifer, that Ojiaka Kodafa, that there's a thinking that because I am abusing here, because all the call Obutelani Subu. So you might think I'm optimistic. Yes, I am, but I'm also realistic. The Southeast, Southwest Middle Belt Forum, but the main block holding Nigeria, and if we believe, if we in Nigeria now, that is what is happening, because they have the population and they have the number of states. They can compete with everybody. But even on top of that, this Buhari government will a blessing to Nigeria, Ndi-Igbo, because it has shown that now the ruling clique, but the majority of the people, Ndi-Igbo, ordinary folks, are having a second think. And again, without sounding too optimistic, some of our greatest support in what we are doing now, some of these guys from Hawaii, if people like Tikuneku, Nandoz, and I've had no interested. Most of the groups I've met, they've come to the East, they come to Abuja, everywhere they decline. Now, Olugo, Mage, Ndi-Igbo, Kama, Nigeria get change. They are beginning to think, not because they are so enamored or so impressed with Igbo, but they brought their best. Onya na China, but their best. And look at what the best can offer. The normal human being is to say, if our best is this bad, then maybe somebody else should try. So these are some of the little things that are working in our favor that gives me the hope. According to Obi Mbunye, this thing can work. It can work. Secondly, you can see that Ndi-Igbo, Ndi Chole Putarochishi, especially the leading one, party PDP, we are working together. Mopita, Ananyim, Senator Anyim, and other people, we are working together so that we can strengthen ourselves and see that if possible, cannot Ndi-Igbo far. We are together in the trenches, Alaigbo, the main foundation. We share the same philosophy. Karma, I have walked away from theorizing and just hoping that heaven will fall than to start digging, so that if we can dig hard enough, then the foundation can be shaken and things can readjust. That's where I have gone to. And I believe that it might just be one of the ways to deal with the issue without Igbo model, without we can do it in this way. For Soviet Union to break apart, through some activities, and God brought Gorbachev or so, who God used to finally nail it. Somebody has to be the guy that will nail it. There must be somebody otherwise, I cannot name conferences up and down. In 2017 or 2016, Muna Professor Wala, now a couple of people, Abiam New York, Abiam United Nations, Abiam Washington DC, I got UK, Mbaz Ndi-Igbo, quick notice October 6th. We came out at our cost to go around the United Nations. So more Igbo Toronto, our time if name, but more see that there are many ways to kill a monkey, or even to kill a rat.
You got a rat this time. If people get a basara the power constellation, also also, na all LNC Lolo, through Ninas, we form of this great alliance in Balafana. Makonya Wabifi Balafana, the great alliance of Ninas. So, in a Ingwele na geji weme ebe a ga-agbado ukwu wee gbanwee ife, right?
That's it.
Okay. Ajụjụ nna ha enwe bụ ịma na National Assembly enweghị ikike ịgbanwe constitution. And ịmakwu na ọ bụrụ na agbanwe constitution a na o nwere ebe a ji azụ eje. Ọkwa ikwetara?
Yeah.
Ya bụ ọ dịfụ ka ọ ga-ekwu emume na onye Igbo nwere ike ịbụ gị nwa nwee ike bụrụ ndị ọzọ ịkpọrọ afa na onye Igbo winụrụ ịbụ onye ọchịchị ala Nigeria, tụkwasị ofu aka na akwụkwọ nsọ, tụkwasị aka na constitution, wee ṅụọ iyi na a ga-aga defend the constitution afọ. Then mgbe ọ ṅụsịala iyi o bidozie ọrụ o welukwa initiative wee ghasaa anya bụ constitution. Ịma na onwe ka ọ ga-adị, right?
No, when I call this, Constitution is an ongoing, is a living document, like every other thing. I'm not going to work against the Constitution. I am going to call for its amendment. Or
so Igbo
maybe Constitution. What we are going to say is that KD Constitution also, or can amend this? It's provided by the Constitution itself. The Constitution provides for its amendment, or it's a new Constitution is there. There's a provision. So if an onimia bonat, anya get me by force. Because when you do it by force, it becomes a case. But or by negotiation, if banka anonymia and Ijidaka, it becomes easier. Muana, in 2004, 2005, Muna Ndika Omaru Diko, when the South Maka, he may increase their derivation or Mua. When South walked out, I led the team that brought the South back and worked with it to even move the derivation to the level it is now. Even though we didn't get towards the South Cholo. At least we got to a point that made them come back to the conference. You know, so negotiating skills and negotiate. If I give me one day, that's why Kataga all within the first idea and is a Waluntini Gesi Gesi. I don't know if Ochigidefa on Obudu Cattle Ranch more somewhere. Teaching a gate, soon Diani, Nequeno 1963 Constitution, Nequeno 1959 Constitution, Nequeno 1979 Constitution, Nequeno 1989 Constitution, Nequeno 1990 Constitution, Nequeno 2004 Reform Political Reform Conference Recommendations and Constitution. Look at the 2014. Unu no look together. John 2 questions Angelo give before. Unu choka ibili of Fuko Fuobodo. Fasi mba fine. Keka yesi Kenya kudodi. Konya ona ngokwe onwe property nwe nenu monana. Ka property awa nolu. Ke nwe relationship. Ka happy Igbo nwanyi. But unu si na ye then ke kwona ka yesi ebidi ayi. We have to decide there. So it's something people are going to be discussing, and because then we go understanding between this group it will be easy to persuade others, because remember, if ever GD Fabuna, Fachen and Dugubofu, Uwe change go, even Ogundi terrorists and bandits, reconfigured enough. So it's no longer a monolithic thing. Rabu a small proportion of this no political elite. But that's the way of the world. Everybody wants to keep his advantage. But when you find that it is no longer possible to keep your advantage, you find alternative. When Babangida got to the point where he could no longer keep his advantage, he had to step aside. It has happened. Move for to solve some of those problems.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Now let's go. No, my last question. My last question, unrapply behind, because that is the most important. My last question, Bo. Onyisi.
Dede.
you are talking about constitution. Do we have a constitution? Does Nigeria have a constitution? Are you referring to a fraudulent document as a constitution? No, let us come down to business. Are you referring to a fraudulent document that was imposed upon the citizenry as a constitution? Are you talking about constitutional amendment that is envisaged in that fraudulent document? A constitutional amendment which will not lead to anything. So, and who gives the government the authority to make a constitution? No government has the authority to make a constitution. I've been waiting for you to arrive at this point where you will tell us, etu ị ga-esi wee call referendum, etu ị ga-esi wee gwa ndị mmadụ kafa decide ya, the first step ga-abụ referendum. Mana funa ị ka na-ekwu okwu ịkpọ representatives a ga-enye pick here from here. Ndị Caliphate ewelego suchie hike, suchie hanya, agaha na room na obudu
okay,
ranch.
This is argumentative. Can we go to something that's constructive?
Yes. My question, do we have a constitution, and does the government have the mandate to change any constitution?
Dr. Seb or Chief Seb, I think we need to be, we're educated people, and being educated people, there are certain things that are taken for granted. A constitution is a law. Even the military passed laws, and they were respected in international jurisdiction. So a law is a law. As long as it is respected international jurisdiction, if they didn't respect, if the United Nations didn't respect Nigerian constitution, we will not be member of the United Nations. All the things, all the conventions Nigeria is entering into, Nigeria will enter. So it is, call it fraudulent, call it incompetent, call it any name, but it's a constitution that is recognized by the law. And the method of changing the constitution, amending it, is also contained in that constitution. And we're going to use the same method to change it. The constitution has a mechanism to change it. You either call it amendment. There are some amendments that are almost like complete change. You can write a new constitution. In 2014, we wrote a new constitution. In 2007, we wrote a new constitution. It can be called any name. The important thing, K design a constitution that will work for Nigeria, that will set us free, that will set the federating units free to fly and compete with each other and live fairly. The people of Zamfara can exploit their gold. The people of the Southeast will exploit their coal and their columbite. The people of Middle Belt will exploit their tin and their lead and sell and pay royalty to the government. That was the way 63 Constitution worked. It's not impossible to go back to some of those things. The thing in this argument, sir, is for you to win an argument, you must show empathy. If somebody is opposing you, you must understand why he's opposing you. And for me, in my years of corporate engineering and corporate strategy and negotiation, it is find what you can give for what you need. You can't want to take all. Or somebody has 2 cars, you say, I will take your 2 cars and give to somebody I have none. He will resist it. What you do is, okay, I'm going to provide train, so you don't need a car. And the man will say, well, train is better, I'll pay less fuel, you won't buy fuel, you won't go through trouble, armed robbers will not catch you on the road, they will not steal your car. The people will see the advantage of following the train. Is the counter argument. There's always a place. And all human beings are human beings. Some are less reasonable, but at the end of the day, they listen to some logic, especially if you try to solve their problem without unduly making it look like you have come to take their own advantage.
Thank you, Mazi. Thank you so much. Because now time I in a heart, so I say I may and can before I go about say I'm jogo for Juju Dempa. Now for so many years, when I hand the Yana Judas goat not one them mother every time Yabon ha gave bag a gibuha. Or Garoya Tigi she the other side, Nila gave Tigi Shebaga got slaughter. So here presidency and I want I gacha presidency on a gacha because I want one. Uno gacha presidency I want on Kedi plan unumere to safeguard in the banya and I book or coconut so
Onwegonyo his job to safeguard anybody. Nobody appointed anybody to safeguard anybody. I am one Igbo man that has decided to offer myself as an opportunity in Ibido all of the solving the Igbo problem in a practical manner. So it is not for me to decide what will happen to Ndi-Igbo after this. I'm making my attempt. With a view to making the attempt. When we finish, if it doesn't work, we'll decide what next we want. What we cannot do, and what I don't do, is to pontificate and take responsibility. It's not one in no more way. I'm not more intelligent than Igbo. So okay. My sister, what I'm saying, can I continue? Because you don't have time.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that there are, as I told Chief Seb, there are many ways to kill a rat. You can use otapia, you can use gum, you can use the traditional mouse trap and all that. There are many ways. This is one way to achieve, and the point is to design a vision. The vision for me is to have a situation where we, the Igbo, can live in a country, whatever name we call that country, that is giving us the opportunity to live like normal human beings, to compete with the Igbo are global citizens. We don't want anything that constricts us or relegates us or reduces our dignity. That's what we want, a fair, just, equitable nation. So if we try this way, it doesn't work, we'll decide there may be other ways. You may have the idea of what that may be, but I'm not going to impose it on you. I think that's the way I would like to say. Nobody has a guarantee that this will work, but we have to go to war, people will die, but others will still be, as they're carrying out wounded soldiers, others are entering the war space. This is part of the war. Perhaps the first step in the war to liberate the Igbo man and liberate other Nigerians. Because our brothers on Igbo, when Sobua, have found that when even the worst treated than us, but because they don't have voice or they've been conditioned to live with that situation, they're just bearing the burden. Many people in the middle belt, in the middle belt are in worse situation than Ndi-Igbo. But for one reason or the other, they haven't been as active as we have been. So they're all looking for salvation, if you like to say. They look for a rescue opportunity for them to become whom God wants them to be. We're all creatures of God. Nobody's supposed to be subordinate to the other. We're equal citizens, but we'll choose who will govern us for a given number of times and on a contractual basis. If you're not doing well, we'll get you out and get other people. But we can't run a country where one person thinks he's the only person who can rule. He appoints his people, he fills the position with his people, and we're watching and complaining. Now I'm no longer ready to complain and watch. I want to struggle to see if I can get that power. If I don't get it, it will be on record that I tried. It will be on record no Igbo tried. So that tomorrow they're not showing interest. They're not, I will give them power. And you have to say so. They will donate power to Ndi-Igbo. They must show interest. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mazi. Just briefly, what do you think? Is Nigeria a federation? Currently constituted. Is it a federation?
Nigeria is an inverted federation, like an inverted pyramid. A true federation, the collaborated or the federating unit donate power to the center to do common services for them. But what we have today, the center has the power donating to the federating unit. That's what I call inverted federation. Okay. It's not. It doesn't fit into the definition of a federation dictionary meaning.
Okay, so by implication, what we have is a fraud. So we don't have a federal.
So we're going to invite. We're going to change. We're going to bring it up. It is the process of taking it back to where it is that I'm coming to do that job of restoring the federation to its normal status and structure. It's part of the reason why we are motivated to come.
Okay, so many people have worked hard in trying to emancipate our people from this political, I don't know, the mistake, political mistake, whatever you call it, inverted federation, inverted something that we have. Are you part of those people trying to emancipate our people from this inverted federation? Have you played?
I think the answer is obvious. If all that I've said today does not give an obvious response to that, then it means I've not communicated. I think the answer is obvious, man.
Okay. Okay.
Hello,
so
sir.
Sorry.
Hello?
In summary, what you are saying is that whatever you want to do for us cannot happen before. You have to get inside. That's when you can save us. So if Fulanis, for instance, are coming to kill Ndi-Igbo, because currently, as we speak, Alaigbo has been militarized. So if anything is going to happen to Ndi-Igbo, they will have to, it has to happen to them, and they will all die, because anything you want to do will have to come from, if the Fulanis allow you to get into Asurok, that's when you begin to do anything, if there's anything you can do.
I agree with you, but I'll keep begging you, man, and all those who are speaking, not to arrogate more power to any human being than he has. The Fulani are not God. They are human beings like us. Maybe they have been smarter than we are, or they have been more, you know, perhaps been able to do worse things than we're able to do, but that doesn't make them any, they're not God. And I trust that God is a fair God, is a God of justice, and he knows how to correct a manifest injustice that we have suffered in Nigeria. I'm believing that, and I want you to believe that with me too, that it's possible for God to correct this injustice.
Thank you, Mazi. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate, you know, how you took your time to explain everything. And our viewers also are watching and listening. And this is conversation. It's an ongoing conversation. We'll continue to talk to ourselves and begin to get ourselves together, get our acts together, so that we know where we're going. Whether we want to do something before or after, we will know. So please, tomorrow we will continue again. This conversation is starting 6 p.m. tomorrow. And we have Mr. Okorocha. Rochas Okorocha is going to be one of the speakers. He's also a presidential candidate. He will come to give us his own version of what he tends to do with Ndi-Igbo, and especially those that are in exile and those that are dying. And also next week, we're going to have those that say, no, it's Biafra they want. We want freedom. We want to leave this Nigeria. We have suffered enough. We don't want to continue to die. They have killed us. We're not trying our luck anymore. We want to go. So that's the upper week. They will come to tell us what they think should be done. Thank you very much, everyone. I don't know if we're closing now. Sister Muna, do you have anything to add?
No, thank you. Thank you, Maz. You've done well. Ike is here. Not Ike, Tony. Tony Wisi wanted to add some more information.
I wanted to ask a question. Just a quick correction. Thank you, Dr. Ekwe. Actually, the senator will be speaking to us on the 23rd of April, Saturday next week. He was supposed to speak to us tomorrow, but he rescheduled today. So the Senator Rochas will be speaking to us on the 23rd. I think I want to join you, Dr. Ekwe and Dr. Muna, and the rest of our team here to thank our brother and uncle, Mazi Sam, for being with us today and all your submission to us. Thank you. So we're very grateful, sir. Back to the moderator.
Thank you.
We'll be able to compile it. We thank you guys so much. You know, because for years, but as mothers, from Nigeria, China, Jichana prison, and sell their body parts. We, you know, wanted to be part of this. I work opportunity and I own 190 working on here. Uno men, uno one, join this conversation because no one here got by any rule. You hello to Mazi where take almost 2 hours. We put on you put your questions. Now, Roma, I can you know, Mara Haiga, because as people at the end of this conference, we need to Mara Ndi-Igbo for real. Onye ọla ga-asị na enyere ha time ka ha were ekwu okwu ka ha were jụ ajụ ka ha were bata soro part of the conversation. Ihe anyị na-eme magburu onwe in the sense na oge ofu onye nọ na direct ihe ụmụnne gbakọtara ọnụ na-asị lekwenụ onye ọbụla nwekwara chance ịpụtakwa bịa ajụ ajụjụ otu o si were dị ya n'obi so that mgbe a ga-asị lekwe ihe a conclude ka hapụ isi onwekwa onye gwara m mgbe a na-eme. So eji m obi umeala na-ekele unu na-asị ka Chineke na-agba unu ume n'ebe ọbụla unu nọ na mgbe unu ga-alaghachi na unu ga-ahụrụ n'ụlọ n'ụlọ unu mgbe unu ga-agaghachi ime ihe unu kwesịrị ime taa na unu ga-eme ya ọfụma. So otu aka ọha m n'ọnụ anyị ga-ahụ unu next week. But I wanted 8 more minutes, so I think it's only fair. I wanted 2 people raising their hands. So Amamundi or the Nubi on our Hawk Nubeju 1 or 2 ajụjụ. Nke akwụkwọ ihe siri ike ka nwanne anyị nwoke nwee ike ịzacha ya in 7 minutes.
Maazị, ihe niile kwuru ihe mere eziokwu ka ọ bụ the alliance enwere with ndị Middle Belt and what have you, and the feelings enwere n'ugwu Awụsa kịta gbasara ọchịchị ndị be ha eziokwu ka ọ bụ ma ọ nwere ofu ihe m chọrọ ka ị mara ka ịgba m ọnụ na-esi were mee. Those their masses during an election, these people control them. Hey, nwere voters card, they register, and this their elite is not how when this or take away all these voters cards from them. So if you are hoping they will vote for you, they may not be able to. We understand how this voters card will you vote to run your channel. So how will we people mitigate that one? This masses is not how support on that.
Well, as in na anụgba ọjọọ agbakwara ajegbe, anyị we're already working with our people ebe niile anyị na akwado, because ebe ọbụla enwe ebe ọla nọ a na-enwe ndị kwere n'ife na-aga kwe onwe ndị na-enyegolo m their numbers, onwe ndị enyegolo anyị they've written their all those particulars, so you can trust some of them. Nobody need work against you. If at least there will always be one Judas that will work with the wrong side. So what I'm saying is that Nanyina Kwado, because if he maniwamapa, if ever maniwamapa, I need to be no boda. We've been around for a while. We understand, especially for someone like me. I've been in their midst. I've been in all, both high and low. So Aniwata, Ifenaga, and luckily I'm a pharmacist. For every medication that has a side effect, we also or antidote, we have a way to deal with adverse reactions. So we are planning in those areas to be able to minimize. Nobody can say he can sufficiently check it, but we'll minimize. And with the new laws, the new electoral law, a few loopholes are already covered.
Okay, thank you, Mazi.
Dalo Nyebuchi.
Onye ọzọ chọrọ ịjụ ajụjụ. Okay, go ahead.
Biko na ọ na-ewe n'iwe ọ bụ na ihe m chọrọ ịjụ na ajụghị maka asị m ụka bata kịta. Nna anyị ukwu, ana m ekele gị maka iwepụta oge bịa n'ọgbakọ a. Ajụ m na-ajụ bụ nke mbụ, ọ na-amasị m na-atọkwa m ụtọ n'obi na ịmara na o nwere ndị fọmụrụ alliance bụkwa ndị na-achọ ka ọ dịrị anyị na mma. So thank God na ịmara etu a. So ihe m na-ajụ bụ nke mbụ, ọ bụgodu na o nwere ka otu n'ime anyị si banye na ya bụ Aso Rock, ọ bụrụkwa ofu iwu Nigeria, ị chọọ ịgbanwe ihe ahụ ị chọrọ ịgbanwe, ma ọ bụgodu na ị chọrọ ịkanvas ka ndị Senator National Assembly ka ha gbanwee ihe. Ọkwa ị mara voting power ndị ọdịda, ndị Igbo ma lese ndị Yoruba na ihe ndị ọzọ ya na ya so. So kedu ihe ị ga-eme dị iche na ihe Jonathan kpọrọ confab okwe ya emechaa ya ahụ etinye ha n'ọrụ ruo taa? Nke ọzọ bụ na ihe gbasara nchekwa, kedu ihe ị ga-eme dị iche? Maka na mụ a na-eche na ndị a na-alụso ndị be anyị ma ndị ugwu ọgụ tata, na ha fụkwa na onye abụghị onye otu ha nọ n'ọkwa ahụ, ha ka jikwe ọ bụ na ha na mbọ ha na-agba iwere ọnọdụ ebe niile kịta bụ 50%, ha ga-adọbụlụ ya. Maka nke mbụ bụ na ọ bụrụ ọzọ onye be ha, maka ihe ahụ mekwere na nke Jonathan. So kedu ihe ị ga-eme dị iche? Just na obere ma ajụ m ji ọ dịkwa clear.
Yeah, ka nsa gị nke bụ anyị ekwugo maka ya. Asị m gị ọkwa ihe ekwu now. Mụnwa so na ndị meeting niile a na-eme ndị South, South, Southeast, Middle Belt, Southwest. I have been to on 20th, next week Tuesday, I'm going to Makodi. And we're all Middle Belt Forum, all Middle Belt Youth Forum on Mark was a guest speaker. When you go me, Charter of Demands, if factual. So I ain't a fan alone. and anyị nọkata anyị ka ndị nke ọzọ. Ndị Middle Belt were 9 states. If you add 9 states to is it 17 states or so in the South, or 18, you find that we will be more, so we can get this thing sorted out. Secondly, our method of argument is that don't take away somebody's advantage without showing him how you can compensate him. That's the negotiation skill. Otherwise, he resists you. I gave an example. Somebody says he has a car. I say, I want to take away your car. I'll provide you a train. And I give you the advantage that the car is costing you money on fuel. Armed robbers will meet you on the road. Mechanics are quarreling with you. But this train passes in front of your house. It's cheaper. I can even pay for it. Just enter and go to work instead of quarreling with car. Those kind of arguments, people do listen. So we believe there's nothing cast on stone, but we believe that we are going to use all those kind of strategies to get change. Again, the 2014 Constitution review was done. Jonathan was waiting for him to come back to power in 2015 to implement it. He didn't come back. In the case of Obasanjo was in 2005, 2006. He took the Constitution and everything to the National Assembly. The National Assembly was being the chairman of the National Assembly, our own brother, who was the president. He threw away the whole thing in the name of, because name were third term. Obro Nyugu was in charge. Obro Nye Fulani, or our own person. Bonye say, because name were third term in the constitutional proof, which was just 2 years. Even if there was third term, what he would have done is to remove the third term and consider the matters that were, I don't know if in the first of all, they moved the motion to throw everything away. So it's not Obasanjo that didn't want to do. And in the case of Jonathan, he had hope to do it. So it's not that what was done didn't come out because people rejected it. Indeed, the people that came to that constitution found were preponderance because it was selected according to population and states. Ndugu Kakwa in the 2007 political reform, in the 2014, how are the more? Yet we're able to get through these arguments and these changes. So it's not an impregnable situation. It's not an impossible situation. It's you use the right strategy and you may get some success. So that's about security. India security will improve by 50%. India no Nigerian security more if only of land weekly. I am my friend on. So a brother can call here. The issue is that yes, when the guy say onye oza batago kainoba ke ha jano ke ha madonna na no siogo how many a day, and what do they have? The issues that Nandi Nachina more their issue, but they have failed to do the issue because India nebu abro Ndi-Igbo, India nebu abro source of Christians. Fan ebu onwefa. Why? If onye Ogunyugu nachi, onye Alakuba nachi, fa na-egbu onwefa na-egbu ndị Alakuba na-egbu ndị ugwu. If don't you know that something else is there in the business?
Yeah, I'm on the phone. The Fulani na-egbu ndị Hausa. Ndị Fulani na-egbu ndị Hausa, so I'm my phenomenon. The alumni. Thank you very much.
Ndị Hausa na-egbukwa fa.
Ndị Fulani na-achị chụpụ ndị Hausa.
Ndị Hausa na-egbukwa. Nwanne anyị nwaanyị kwuru eziokwu. Ọ ndị Fulani na-egbu ndị Hausa
na-analụpa na Nigeria. Yes, in Northern America. I was in
Nigeria,
I was in Zamfara yesterday.
But don't worry, if I'm on global, global village, the world has become a global village.
When description, at a bomb, where would anyone train? They want to train. But I see identify your genealogy.
No, we are looking at the maps. Mazi, we are looking at the maps, and we are seeing Imanenwogo IDP camps. And we see that people are being displaced from communities and being replaced by foreign people coming in. So we are watching what is going on. It's a global village, Mazi. This is not the time I'm hiding in US, I'm hiding in UK. I don't know what is happening in Zango, Qatar. We are monitoring situations. We see what is going on. The indigenous are being displaced. by some foreign troop that they opened the borders and brought them in. We saw it happen. It's not hidden. So, but we thank you, Mazi. You have given us your view. We appreciate that. We appreciate all the time you spent. And every other person, we are all following the news. We are following the events. We need to decide. We want to die or wait for 2023 to come, whether we die, whether we are alive. So thank you so much, sir. Please let the discussion continue.
Thank you.
Oh,
Bye bye.